Okay, plus 23 missed on the Shaman. I was asked about Chains of Devastation, so this is just going to be me mostly talking about Chains of Devastation and just how I think about it as we play. So basically a replacement legendary for, instead of running the Earth Elemental legendary, I typically wouldn't run this on like a 23 Tyrannical miss, because I just find it more useful to have the Earth Ellie Lego, but like, the Earth Ellie Lego is going to do more damage if it doesn't die instantly. And essentially, I just try to base that off of, like, the dungeon or the affixes. So, on, like, fortified weeks, I think Chains of Devastation is really good, or in dungeons where there's, like, really, really heavy trash packs, that's where Chains of Devastation is going to come in play a lot more. But really, like, for a pack like this, where there's a mix of, like, there's a decent amount of group damage happening, is where we're kind of just utilizing Chains of Devastation to the fullest. So I'm pressing Chain Heal and Chain Lightning just back and forth over and over, and then just kind of using healing CDs in between and not really pressing other buttons. Like, I'm not too worried about casting Lava Burst and stuff like that unless I find time. But otherwise, like, when it's kind of more healing intensive, we focus more on just using Chains of Devastation as much as possible. Like, see, on this pack, I would try to cast more like Lava Bursts and stuff like that because it's not as important. And I can also, since I have no procs at the moment, I can just drop my Cloudburst Totem, and now I get an instant Chain Heal, and then it's like those AoEs weren't getting interrupted, so I just use a Chain Heal to heal up the group. I can put out another Flame Shock, and now I can kind of just sit on this Chain Heal. Or what you can do to, like, not have to cast this Chain Heal is you can just use another Cloudburst or some kind of totem, and then now you get access to pressing it again. And then, like, even here, since we're going into a big pull, I'll just Healing Tide totem, and now I can Chain Lightning, and now I don't have to, like, sit on, or I can sit on this Chain Heal for a moment, and then here I press Cloudburst, and we're kind of just using our totems, essentially. When the group doesn't actually need healing, I utilize totems to not have to spend, you know, extra globals just to get another free Chain Lightning. And then here it's really important to keep our Flame Shocks up and Lava Burst as much as possible. And then here we go again. We have another Cloud Burst, so I use that, and then I get a free Chain Lightning. And then if there's healing to be done, like when these bow breakers start thrashing, that's when I can now play off of this as, you know, I can Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, and just use that over and over. That way I'm still essentially doing damage while healing. But then when there isn't any healing to do, so when we get back to this point here, it's like I don't really want to utilize my Chain Heal cast because it's just kind of wasteful. So I just wait until I can drop totems to cancel that and still, you know, have effective healing going into the group and stuff like that. So it's just a lot less work, and you get the same value out of, like, all the free Chain Lightnings without having to, like, waste a global in between every Chain Lightning, essentially. Because at that point, you might as well just press Chain Lightning normally, because if it's taking you 2 globals to cast a Chain Lightning, and you're not getting any other benefit from it, just a Chain Lightning, then it's not really that worthwhile. So we try to find ways to get value. And then even here, same thing, there's no healing to do, so I just drop a Cloudburst, and now I get a Chain Lightning. And I don't really have to work off of this Chain Heal, I can just wait till I have another totem available or something. Flame Shock's going, put down my Kyrian totem. And then here, like, the Hunter got hit, so I just hit Chain Lightning on the Hunter. And now I get another free Chain Lightning. You don't have to constantly maximize, like, the output of this legendary. You don't have to constantly, like, go, oh, I have to Chain Heal right now, I have to Chain Lightning right now. Like, you don't have to do that at all. I think that's, like, a big misunderstanding with the legendary, is that you have to constantly utilize it over and over, and that's definitely not the case. Even here, now we found a way to not have to press Chain Heal. Instead, we just pressed it for free with the totem, and now I get a Chain Lightning. Again, we press a Cloudburst, And then now we can, since there's healing to do, now we can start utilizing those free chain heals. No Vesper Totem for the burn. We definitely messed that up. It's okay. Actually, since I didn't use my potion on the burn, I'm just going to use it here to help build the tree a second time. Same thing again. We just use a Cloudburst Totem to get that free Chain Lightning. Put down our Vesper Totem. Put Flame Shock back on Ingra. We want to try to do as much damage to him as we can before he gets the Embrace Darkness off. Get another Cloudburst down. Refresh Flame Shocks. Believes he's going to Embrace Darkness soon, but we can still get one more Flame Shock for a little bit of damage before he fears. We Tremor here. I didn't Tremor that first one, I just noticed. Forgot I was on my Shaman, it seems like. Happens. Actually happens a lot, more than I'm willing to admit. Kind of awkward positioning here. Just gonna put my Vesper Totem down because it's looking a little scary. Just to help burn the tree, because nice to have it for the burn, but it's also nice to not die doing this. So the Vesper Totem will help burn the tree a little bit faster. Ooh, our damage is very low for this burn. This kind of sucks. Maybe I should have saved Vesper. It looks like we're going to be okay. We can just stay on the boss here. It's a little bit high HP, but that's okay. We're fine. Yeah, we're fine. Just going to keep Flame Shock on both of them still, because I get more Lava Surge procs that way. And we're just putting all of our damage into Ingra, and it's very important that we really do put as much damage as we can. So I'm not even using Chain Lightning, I'm just using Lightning Bolts for more single target damage. Because if we don't burn him fast enough by the time he does Embrace Darkness, then we're stuck and we have to kill the tree, and then it's really, really bad. So I have like 0 focus on healing here, and I'm just completely focused on killing this boss. So Earth Ellie here for some extra HP. Yeah, that Embrace is not okay. There's like, that is really rough. Gonna have to kill the tree at this point. This is really bad. I'm just gonna kind of scoot out of here. The Spear Walker's Grace going and kind of heal everybody up as we run over here. Put down another Cloudburst. At this point, I think we have to kill the tree. I think killing the boss is not viable. I don't get a Tremor here. I'm getting hit with the bolt here, so I just pop a defensive and health pot. This is so rough. This is actually so rough. I'm gonna just SLT in melee kind of randomly. It's probably not gonna get very much effectiveness, but might save somebody. I can't believe we're just burning through this Embrace Darkness. This is actually so unfortunate. Kind of the worst thing ever. I'm gonna Hellstone here. Trying to fit some Healing Surge while I move around. We're up there. We have a Cloudburst going off here, so that'll help. Pop another Cloudburst. This time I get the Tremor, and we're all good. That was rough. But we made it. Not making very much good time now, but that's okay. Can pull through the wall here for these guys. That is some high-level goblin tech right there. Hopefully they wanted that. I'm assuming they would want this pack, even though there's an Inspired. I think we kind of need it at this point. I don't think we can afford to not be pulling through the walls. These bites are just going to hurt a little bit, so we just got to watch those. But Yeah, the way you pull through the wall there, there's like this little, I just marked it on the ground and hopefully I can explain while we're standing here. But there's that little like bend or this little like split in this root on the floor where it splits into two like paths. You stand like right on the crossing of that. And then if you're a goblin, you can tag the defender in the back of the pack. But you just have to be a goblin. It doesn't matter what class you are or anything. Or do we not see which way it went? This way. Leaf. Full flower. Then we'll look around again. That's an empty leaf. Or empty flower. Okay, there we go. That full leaf right there. Same thing here. We're not trying to use too many of those those instant cast chain heals if we don't have to. And like even here, if I'm lazy, I can literally just throw down a Healing Tide Totem. Like we don't need the healing here, but it just gives me another free Chain Lightning. And then it provides more benefit than me pressing a chain heal for that global, because now that Healing Tide will kind of keep the group topped up, and I have to do a lot less work. Whereas if I press chain heal, it just completely overheals and does nothing. Okay, should be this way, yeah, no matter what. Get down Vesper Totem before the relics go away, so we get that nice cooldown reduction. Cast a few healing spells to get those procs on the Vesper Totem. And then while I'm moving here, I can use those Chains of Devastation procs, so I can like chain heal as I'm moving. That's the other really good part about Chains of Devastation, is it's like very good for being on the move and doing healing and damage for dungeons that force you to do that. Just gonna save my Vesper Totem at this point since this mob's already dead. Oh, goodbye. There should be an Inspired in here, I believe, right? No, there's not. Okay. Oh, we're doing the double pull. Okay. Oh, that's not good. We're gonna run over this way and CC this Inspired mob just in case they want to double pull it. Put down Vesper Totem. And here is where we're definitely going to be able to start utilizing both sides of Chains of Devastation instead of just the Chain Lightning part. As people take damage here, like this rogue, I can literally just pump all of my chain heals into him. And it's definitely not as effective as doing something like spamming Healing Surge into him, for instance. But we're getting like that benefit of dealing damage and healing and kind of mixing it up. And here, as the damage calms down and there's not much to do, we just switch back on to just focusing on damage and just spending all of those globals on damage. Chains of Devastation is basically, if it hasn't been made clear yet, it's basically really good for like dealing both damage and healing. It's when you want a little bit of both. It's not necessarily a legendary that's purely damage focused, and it's also not a legendary that's purely healing focused. But it does have more consistency than like the Earth Elemental legendary, where you can press it and the Earth Elemental kind of just instant dies, which feels really, really bad. It should be up this way, I believe, but we'll just make sure. Yeah, it's up this way. And then the next one would be a full with a circle, which should be boss. Yeah. Down Vesper Totem here. And now we're just going to utilize that Chains of Devastation. We're going to purge that buff off. Again, just using those instant cast chain heals on whoever needs healing, even if it's only one person. We're trying to get a benefit of damage and healing instead of just spamming Healing Surge into the rogue. I can kind of just more slowly top him up with chain heals and get those instant cast chain lightnings while I'm at it. Because I basically know that he's not in any immediate danger, so it's okay to like take it a little bit slower with the like healing him up. I actually got like the best route available. We have like perfect percentage like this. I'm gonna use Guardian or Earth Elemental here, I mean. And okay, that Bramble Thorns got interrupted. That's good. We keep the Warlock topped up here. We put a Healing Tide here. I still have a little bit of a cough, so my voice is kind of shot. And I keep feeling like I have to cough really bad. So. Just gonna kick that. Up the rogue, can use those chain heals on the rogue, same thing. He's not in any immediate danger of dying. This bleed's not gonna kill him. So I can kind of just sit here and bounce back and forth with the chain lightning and chain heal. Where's he going? I'm gonna pull another pack. I don't think we want to pull another pack. We have literally perfect percent. Just gonna finish off that Guardian before it puts us in trouble. And then here on this boss, we just need to focus purely on healing each intermission. So having a Cloudburst stacked for the intermission or as we go into the intermission is good. And then usually using one healing cooldown. So like for this first one, I'm going to use Ascendance and a Cloudburst Totem. So we're about to go into it. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my Cloudburst now as we're getting ready to go into it. And then we find the solution, which should be this empty one over here. Apply a few Riptides. Apply another Cloudburst. Popped a little bit early. And then we can pop that Ascendance that we talked about. And I'm just utilizing those Chain Lightning and Chain Heals to help do a little bit of damage. Up a Vesper Totem, and then now we just start planning again for the next one, which is going to be, the next intermission is going to be a Cloudburst Totem, and we can use like Spirit Link and Healing Tide, since Spirit Link's kind of bad if we don't all stack up, which we're probably not going to be. So Healing Tide will provide a little bit of extra benefit there as well. I should have waited on the Cloudburst. I don't know why I pressed it. You want to kind of, usually you want to bank 2 Cloudbursts so that you have like 1 Cloudburst as the intermission starts to top everybody up, or just like, you know, shortly into the intermission, and then you have another one to kind of lead you through the rest of the intermission until it is just about to end. Just as like an emergency heal. Looks like we still almost get that, so it's okay. So, I'll press the Cloudburst like as we go into this. There we go. Now we just figure out which one it is. We drop our Vesper Totem. We drop our Spirit Link. Use those Chain Lightnings as we're doing this. Drop Healing Tide. Use that Chain Lightning. And then now we just go into regular healing. Now that Cloudburst is absolutely huge as the intermission ends. And then now for the last intermission, we don't have any healing cooldowns. So we just need to be aware of that and just be ready to focus a little more on healing. So it's just going to be utilizing our Cloudburst Totems and then kind of spam Healing Surge and Riptides and stuff like that to keep everybody topped up from start to finish. It's just about not falling behind in the intermission. That's what helps us keep us alive. Here I can definitely drop a Cloudburst. I have time, since we have a lot of time until we push into the intermission. Kind of just use this Cloudburst to keep the tank healthy as we go into the intermission. Just do a little bit of free healing, basically. And then I'm just going to save this Vesper Totem for when we actually get in the intermission and figure out which one we're gonna start killing. So here we drop Cloudburst again. Start prepping. And we're looking, it's the empty one, so we drop our Vesper over there, we start doing damage to it, and then we switch into healer mode to make sure that we stay ahead. Really spamming those healing surges. Still spamming those healing surges, immediately dropping another Cloudburst as soon as the previous one expires. Now we're all good. Refresh our buff on the Warlock for our trinket. And there we go.
I haven't played like that in so long. Let's do it again.
The time for play has passed. The winds urge us forward.
Okay. No more lists. Hey, this doesn't look right. It doesn't look right at all.
Tirna Scithe withers as
Using a few Riptides before we go into this pull so that I can focus on damage. Okay, looks like we're skipping this. Gonna help focus this inspired mob down, if that's what we're doing. Okay, it looks like we're CCing it actually. That is fine then, we will target something else. Looks like we're also CCing that other inspired. Oh, I will drop my Vesper Totem here, and then this is where we really utilize Chains of Devastation again. For one, we're using it to proc our Vesper really fast, and then two, we're using it because there's a lot of damage potential here that we can do with Chain Lightning, and there's also a lot of healing that needs to be done constantly throughout this pull because of all the dots and kind of random damage spikes that are happening. So same thing, now that there's less healing to do, whenever I feel like there's less healing to do, I can then use things like Cloudburst and stuff like that instead of the Chain Heal. But the idea should be, generally, if you need a lot of healing, you don't want to use Cloudburst on these free Chain Heals because you want a free Chain Heal. But if you're trying to just mix up your damage and healing a little bit more, then you can utilize, like right here, I don't need to press this Chain Heal on anybody right now, so I can just use that Cloudburst. And it's the same way in even like a more tense pull and stuff. It's just about figuring out what you feel like you need. Do you need a Chain Heal and a Cloudburst? Then you would want to, you know, not use up this proc with a Cloudburst. But here, I don't feel like I need I don't feel like I need 2 heals. I only need 1. So I just use the Cloudburst and it eats the Chain Heal buff for me so that I can then instead focus on Chain Lightning. Here we'll just summon Earth Ellie. We want to go CC this just in case. Away from this guy. Same thing, we don't need a Chain Heal and a Cloudburst, so eating up those Chain Heal procs with my totems. And as we go into this pull, I can eat a proc of the Chain Heal, since we're moving. Applying Flame Shocks where I can, using Chain Heal if anyone gets too low. Still utilizing our Legendary as much as possible. Been pretty decent overall DPS, I would say. 0.1k is not bad. Looks like we're gonna do boss first, which makes sense. And then we just kill a Larvoin instead. Drop our totem before the relics go away so that we get that nice cooldown reduction on 4 targets. I should have reapplied that Flame Shock to the boss because it's going to expire, but I guess that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. And then I talked about this in my Druid video, but I'll go over it again with this boss, is like with these swirlies, you really want to, like, the longer this boss fight takes, the more chaotic it gets. So if you can, you really want to keep these swirls away from everybody. So I try to usually stand as far away from everybody else in the group as I possibly can, while still being in range to, like, heal them. So, like, I'm not in range of the hunter right now, but if I need to heal him, I can literally just go like this and start healing him. So, like, the position I'm in is very intentional. So, like, here, the warlock's kind of close to me, so I'm gonna kind of scoot my way over here, because then we keep these swirlies away from everybody, and then also if we get mind linked, we're in a good spot to where it's not gonna link onto all the other players and cause a bunch of panic and chaos, which is definitely what we want to avoid on this boss, because it can get out of control really quick if things start getting a little crazy with the swirls and all that. And I'm also trying to keep the swirls as tight as possible, which you do that by just dodging as little as possible. I'm only dodging as much as I need to, just outside of the range of the swirly. I'm going to drop my Vesper on all of these ads. Ideally, you always line up Vesper with these ads because you get really nice cooldown reduction for it, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. Kind of keep it on them as well to do some extra damage. And then, like here, see, the rogue needs healing, so I'd literally just step in a little bit and then I step back out. Now I'm out of range of them again, but if he needs healing, I can literally just step back in. So right here, I can just step back in a little more towards melee. And there we go. Just drop Ascendance here. Drop Spirit Walker's Grace here, since this is the last little intermission phase. Drop my Vesper again. It's okay that we don't get the cooldown reduction. Staying far away in case I get targeted by the next Mind Link. See, now it's on the Hunter, so we're going to be in a very awkward spot, but luckily we're just far enough away on that corner. Step in and heal the players who need healing. Stun these ads, and then walk away. Now we got Mind Link, so we literally just go off into our little corner over here. And see, it's because I'm, like, prepared for it. If I wasn't prepared for it there and I was just standing in melee with all the ads and I didn't start moving ahead of time, someone probably dies there, because it's just like all the ads melee attacking us, and then we get a Mind Link and it's attached to literally everybody and we're all right next to each other killing the ads. It's like, it's really, really bad. So you really want to try to do everything you can as a healer to help your group deal with this stuff. And, like, see, we got the Mind Link here. I'm just far enough away to where it's not going to be a problem. I can just walk away. I have the ads on me, so I'm trying to stay a little bit close, but I don't want to get so close that now we're all huddled together and the Mind Link goes off just like that. So it's just all about keeping up on what's going to happen next. That's what's important. And, like, see, that was very bad. Swirlies. We stepped into melee and didn't step back out because I wasn't paying attention to my timers, just as I'm talking about it. Now we just kill this inspired larva and we're all done. This is an easy timed E. 2 IO. Let's go. Alright, cool. Thanks for watching. I know I talked a lot, so go listen to me ramble.